Welcome back to another episode of Where's My Sock? I'm your host, Mr. E, and today we're going to be talking about the challenges that come about when turning your podcast from just a listening experience to a visual experience as well. Because when you turn your podcast into video, the first surprise is your audio can be great and the video can still feel hard to watch. Now, that's not because you did something wrong, but because video adds a second channel of information, and that's what people can see. You see, in audio, the listener follows the message with their ears. In video, the viewer is also reading your face, your background, your lighting, your pacing, and any on-screen text that you might include. So, if any of that is distracting, the viewer's brain is naturally going to start splitting its attention. So the goal with this episode is simple. I'm going to help guide you so that you can make visuals support your podcast without turning your show into a film project. So, like any other episode, let's go ahead and get through some intro music. And when we get back, I'll get into details on why any of this matters, some concepts that you can go by, and ultimately building that method to help you along your journey as you venture into something that I haven't even done myself, and that's video podcasting. But we'll get into all that here after the little music break. All right. Now, much like I was just saying, as many of you have noticed, if you're following along on this journey, I appreciate you. Thank you. I do have a YouTube channel, but I do not have much of a visual aspect to go along with that. And if I'm just being transparent with you guys like I try to be, that's because I have not taken the time to get into learning how to edit videos the same way that I have learned how to start doing a podcast from the audio aspect only. I don't have any fears of being on camera. I like to think that I'm a pretty handsome guy, so, there's no problems there. It's just the time that it takes to master video editing that sounds very intimidating at this point in my journey. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not that I'm not going to ever get into it. It's not that I'll never show you guys my face. It's just for right now where I'm at in my journey, I love focusing on the audio aspect. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to give you guys the information that I'm finding out as I peek into what it can mean to add video to your podcast. And maybe at the end of this episode, I'll share some alternative ideas that I'm having for myself that you can maybe apply to your podcast if video editing is something that might be difficult for you as well, or maybe you're just not interested in being on camera. That's just fine too. The lovely thing that I'm finding out about this podcast space is there's a lot of different lanes that you can get yourself in, and you can still be a popular show doing just audio. So again, those are your choices, not mine. Just giving you that little information on my standpoint when it comes to video podcasts. I don't have anything against them, but personally, I do wish we had a different word for podcasts that are video. That's a clear distinction between the audio version and the video portion. You have any ideas on what that term should be? Let me know down in the comments. I'll take a look. So, but getting back on topic, not so much my opinions. Why is it important? What I'm about to talk about with this video thing. And it's important because once you introduce video into your podcast, you're going to have a different first impression from your viewers. In audio, someone usually decides to keep listening based on the first minute. In video, someone often decides to keep watching in the first few seconds. If the shot is awkward, the lighting is rough, or the framing feels accidental, the content may never get a fair chance, no matter how good the conversation is. And once you publish, video platforms add another layer. People don't discover your video by hearing it first. They discover it by seeing a thumbnail and a title. So we're going to build a system that handles two moments. Before recording, where you make the shot watchable, and before publishing, which will be when you make the topic obvious at a glance. So let's come up with a concept so you don't feel like video is taking over your life or you start getting anxiety like I do thinking about it. Video podcasting is still podcasting. Never get that confused. It's a new aspect of things, but it's still podcasting nonetheless. You're still teaching, you're still interviewing, storytelling, whatever your show is about. The difference is the video needs to have a basic visual structure so the viewer isn't distracted. So we're going to group some common video terms into 3 roles. The first few terms are going to be framing and lighting, and that's going to be under the first role, the shot, and that's what the viewer sees. Role 2 is going to be our aspect ratio, and we can call that the container, because you're going to be paying attention to aspect ratio when you're deciding where to upload your video to. And finally, when it comes to things like captions, B-roll, jump cuts, and thumbnails, that's going to be under our third role, the editing layer. And these are the key things that'll help your video remain something that's watchable. So now that we've kind of grouped those into categories and thrown out a few terms, I just want you guys to keep in mind that in video, clarity is visual too. You get that, right? Because not just clear audio like we've been talking about. Your visual needs to be clear too. Okay, all right, you get it. Moving on. So let's talk about a method so you can make sure that your visuals are clear. And think of it as like a recording checklist and a publishing checklist, if you will. There's going to be 7 steps to this, so if you haven't already, go ahead and take out a pen and paper, grab your phone, however you take notes, if you even take notes, or just listen through and keep rewinding. I'll take the plays. I appreciate it. All right, so step 1, frame the shot so the viewer knows where to look. Framing is just compensation. What's in the shot and how it's positioned. The beginner goal is not cinematic. The beginner goal is my face is clear, the background isn't distracting, and the shot looks intentional. So much like in audio, do a 10-second test and check 3 things. Are you too far away? Is your head cut off or floating in a weird amount of empty space? And is there anything behind you that steals attention? If you fix those 3, you're already ahead. Step 2, light your face so the camera stops struggling. Lighting is what makes the camera look good. If you're backlit by a window, your face turns into a shadow. If the room is dim, the camera boosts the image and you can get grain. And that's never a good look for your face. Talk about a bad filter. So the simple rule here is put the main light in front of you, not behind you. Face the light, then test again. This is one of those areas where a small change gives you a big difference, because video quality is often more about lighting than camera price. Step 3, Decide the aspect ratio before you commit to the setup. Aspect ratio is the shape, wide, square, or vertical. This matters because it changes how your shot should be framed. If your main destination is wide video, you frame for wide. If you plan to make vertical clips, you keep important action more centered and leave space where captions might go. So the decision is simple. Choose the platform first, then choose the shape. That prevents awkward cropping later. Step 4. Add captions so the message survives the scroll. Captions are not just an accessibility feature in video clips. They're a comprehension tool. A lot of people watch without sound at first. Captions helps them understand the point immediately. They also help when names, terms, or numbers matter. The goal isn't perfect caption. The goal is readable captions that match what you're saying, and a quick review matters because obvious errors can distract. Step 5. Use B-roll when it increases understanding. B-roll is supporting footage. Screenshots, cutaways, screen recordings, images, anything that helps show what you mean. A good rule is use B-roll when it saves you explanation. If you're describing something visual, show it. If the video is visually static for too long, a short B-roll moment can reset attention. And B-rolls also help hide edits. And that's actually a good point for our next step. Jump cuts happen when you remove time from a talking shot and the viewer sees the quote-unquote teleport. In many video podcasts, jump cuts are normal and acceptable. The decision is whether you want them to be a part of the style or whether you want to cover them. If a jump cut feels distracting, you can cover it with B-roll, an on-screen title, or a tighter cut that feels intentional. Sometimes the best solution is simply leaving a tiny bit more pause so the cut isn't so abrupt. The key is jump cuts aren't automatically bad. They're a visible pacing choice. And our final step, step 7, publish with a thumbnail that explains the topic fast. Thumbnails are the first watch. Before someone hears your voice, they see a picture and a title. So the thumbnail has one job: make the topic understandable at a glance. Simple usually wins here. A clear face, clean background, relatable text if you use text, and a consistent style from episode to episode. The goal isn't hype. The goal is clarity. If a viewer can't tell what the video is about in 1 second, they usually keep scrolling. All right, now let's get to fine tuning what we've been talking about this whole episode. Are you still with me, folks? Are you awake? Hello. I got this pop filter on, so I really hope you heard that knock. But when I'm editing this, I'm keeping that in there. Anyways, so here's the decision rule that keeps video from turning into a second full-time job. If a visual change doesn't improve clarity, don't add it. Now, what that means is frame and light so the viewer can comfortably watch. Choose an aspect ratio that fits your main platform, whether that be you shoot it in wide shot, square shot, or vertical, or portrait, whatever you want to call it. Add captions because they improve understanding. Use B-roll only when it helps comprehension or covers a necessary edit. Accept jump cuts when they improve pacing and cover them when they distract. And finally, make the thumbnail clarify the topic, not just decorate the upload. And here's your 2 checklist summary. Before recording, make sure that you got your framing, lighting, and aspect ratio set. And before you hit that publish button, make sure you tighten up on those captions, the B-roll choices, jump cut choices, and that thumbnail explains what your video is about at a glance, not something that someone has to stare at and study. Wrapping things up, when you turn a podcast into video, what changes is what the audience notices first. The audio still matters, but visuals now affect clarity too. Framing makes the short shot feel intentional. Lighting makes the camera image readable. And your aspect ratio determines where the video fits and how it should be composed. When it comes to the publishing side of things, captions help viewers understand the message fast, while B-roll adds clarity and visual variety. Jump cuts aren't bad. You just have to decide if it's going to be something that affects the pacing and can be embraced or covered depending on how you want to have your podcast be. And just to reiterate, that thumbnail better be clear. And it needs to be something that helps people decide if your video is something they want to click on or not. It's not rocket science, folks. If you're going to add a video component to your show, just remember this. Keep the goals simple. Make the visuals support your podcast, not distract from it. And that's what I got for you guys. I hope this has been another informative episode of Where's My Sock for you guys. And if you don't mind and you got the time, please subscribe to the show. That way, you never miss out on any of this information, so that you can be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time on another episode of Where's My Sock?